I put on a wig and female clothing to attend a blind date. In place of my sister, the attractive, wealthy man sitting across from me examined me with an icy stare. I'm gay. I'm just here to please my family. I'll give you $15,000 monthly to act as my girlfriend. Are you willing? Because I urgently needed cash. My face brightened. Sure, definitely. Eventually, when he found out I was really a man, he pressed me against the bed and kissed me. Sweetheart, you've been deceiving me all along. Don't you believe you owe me something in return? You made me a promise before. Now you must honor it. My sister stumbled upon pictures of me, dressed as a maid at a comic expo. I expected her to criticize me for wasting time. However, she texted me, "Put on female clothes and attend a blind date for me this weekend." Turned out our aunt had been hounding my sister about blind dates. She kept insisting the man was a rare opportunity, and that she'd have lifelong regrets if she skipped meeting him. My sister was a work-obsessed professional who constantly stayed late at the office. She had zero interest in this rubbish, but didn't want to let down the aunt who brought her up. That's why she chose to use me. Me? That picture was purely accidental. I don't have any cross-dressing obsession. Plus, you want me, the most popular guy at State University, to meet some man for you. Does that make sense? My sister doesn't make sense. Then I'll forward your picture to Mom. Me? Mom could absolutely never see that picture. I'd be finished. Just talk with him briefly, then come up with an excuse to kindly turn him down. All right. I had to reluctantly consent. The weekend came. I sat in the designated coffee shop with wavy long hair, flawless makeup, dressed in a pink outfit, at 5 feet 7 inches, with naturally delicate bones and attractive features. I looked like a gorgeous woman when cross-dressed. As expected, when the young man hurried in and spotted me, he paused momentarily. I coughed quietly. He regained his composure and went back to his icy demeanor. Truth be told, my sister's date was genuinely handsome. Intense eyes, wide shoulders, lengthy legs. The instant he entered through the door, he possessed this runway model energy that captured everyone's focus. Even I felt bad for my sister. Really? You're letting a good one slip away. Then this man spoke and almost made my jaw hit the floor. I'm Ryan. I pretend to be gay. I'm just here to appease my family and avoid their marriage pressure. He studied my shocked expression with analytical eyes, his chilly voice going on. You appear appropriate. Can you act as my girlfriend? What on earth? I'm a man. Supporting my sister on a date was acceptable. Acting as your girlfriend? Absolutely not. But I couldn't voice that directly. I was here standing in for my sister. If I got caught and news reached our aunt, she'd murder me. So I seductively tossed my wavy wig, struck a stance with my body, creating an EX configuration, and responded, absolutely not. My grandfather was an opera performer who focused on female characters being raised around him. I learned voice control without effort. My gentle voice sounded perfect. The tall man's face wavered for an instant. After hesitating, he coldly stated, 15,000 monthly. How much did you say? 15,000? I gulped in amazement. As a penniless college student, I desperately required money. I was pursuing the campus queen from the adjacent class, but my competitor was also chasing her today. Defeat me. He'd already bought her a phone, laptop, and luxury handbags. Word was he planned to buy her a high-end car soon. What a shameless, wealthy scumbag. 15,000 per month to act as my girlfriend. Are you willing or not? Ryan's slim fingers drummed the table as his low voice spoke once more. I came back to reality and enthusiastically seized his hand. Sure, definitely. It's merely acting as his boyfriend. Correct? I already wore female clothing for this date. How difficult could playing his girlfriend possibly be? His intense stare quickly landed on my hand. Grasping his eyebrows pulled together slightly. Your hand? What? Regarding my hand? Oh yes. I heard gay men don't enjoy touching women. I rapidly withdrew my hand uncomfortably. My apologies. Ryan flexed his fingers and returned to his cold demeanor. He then established 3 guidelines. Be reachable when I contact you. No justifications. Nights are acceptable, but during daytime I must go to classes. I looked at Ryan's frigid face, and my voice became quieter until I obediently stopped talking. Fine. The benefactor makes the decisions. At worst. Miss Class. There could be hand-holding and embracing, but it's merely for appearance. Don't develop any foolish notions about me. His voice resembled fractured ice on a jade pond. Low and frigid. Huh? That certainly won't occur. I'm completely heterosexual. However, hand-holding and embracing require additional payment. Acceptable. Ryan carelessly threw a black card onto the table. My eyes expanded. $15,000. That's simple. This feels so wrong. I mentioned while smiling and effortlessly storing the card. I noticed the man facing me show a brief smile. Miss Anderson, I believe you've misunderstood. This is an unfunded card. Payment arrives after 30 days if your performance satisfies me. Naturally. Ruthless employer. Wicked capitalist. When the dormitory was vacant, I discreetly tested the high heels I purchased online. After Ryan gave me that unfunded card, he quickly assigned the first assignment. Join him at home to see his grandmother this weekend. Before departing, he glanced disapprovingly at my sneakers and insisted I wear heels. Odious. This. I swore as I stumbled around the dorm floor in high heels, rehearsing walking right. Then the door I hadn't completely shut was abruptly pushed open. Miss, what are you doing? Marcus stood in the entrance stunned. He had on a baggy basketball jersey, sweat dripping from his forehead down his tan. Muscular bosom. Clearly just returned from playing basketball. Not your concern. I acted composed while freaking out internally. I'd planned everything except this man. Skipping class to play basketball and returning this early. Ahem. Clearly Emily requested me to assist her. I stubbornly raised my chin. Emily was the campus queen I'd been pursuing. Marcus was my competitor, fighting for her interest. Previously, when I wore a maid outfit, was to support Emily's anime club. This time, fabricating about her would not just prevent doubt, but likely make Marcus envious that Emily and I were friendly. As predicted, Marcus's face became bright red as he stuttered. Emily requested you to cross-dress once more. Haha, clearly irritated. It's a confidential assignment for her club. If you mention it to anyone. I placed my hands in my pockets and squinted my eyes. Due to the high heels, I was currently at eye level with this muscular man. Under my gaze, he froze entirely, his ears becoming crimson. Won't mention it to anyone. Marcus looked elsewhere and gestured his hands wildly. The weekend, the most renowned hillside estate in the outskirts. Ryan and I stood together at his grandmother's bedside. The senior woman had recently recovered from an operation and appeared well, with pink cheeks. She noticed me. Her eyes sparkled. Mother. I mentioned Nathan follows your wishes. You requested bring a girlfriend and she's here. Ryan's mother softly urged us forward. Step nearer so Grandma can properly look. Indeed, indeed. Let me observe. The elderly woman smiled kindly and grasped my hand. These palm markings. Excellent. You're a fortunate person. And the senior woman examined my palm, becoming increasingly pleased. I was interested what she'd mention next, when she abruptly placed a sandalwood bracelet on my wrist. Ideal pairing for our Ryan. This bracelet I preserved for my grandson's spouse. Finally belongs to someone. Truly? That's amazing. Amazing. Ryan's mother covered her mouth, almost weeping with happiness. His father and family members all grinned with comfort. It appeared Ryan's grandmother was a celebrated fortune teller, famous for her palm reading precision. Everyone she'd analyzed said she was entirely correct. Therefore, when the family learned her declaration, they all accepted it. I glanced desperately at Ryan. His expression was gloomy as a thundercloud. Grandma must be aging and observing things incorrectly. Huh? I chuckled anxiously. Naturally. She was incorrect. He didn't even realize I was a man. So the ideal pairing statement was surely inaccurate too. On the journey back, I giggled uncomfortably, while secretly observing the quiet ice sculpture next to me. Oh yes. Here's your bracelet returned. I began removing the sandalwood bracelet. Ryan abruptly leaned across and seized my wrist. Don't remove that. His fingers tightened around my wrist, sending a strange sensation through my arm. But this is your grandmother's bracelet. It's meant for your future wife. I'm not your wife. I'm not even a woman. Ryan's eyes darkened as he studied my face. Keep it on. For now. He released my wrist, but continued watching me with that intense gaze. Grandmother gave it to you. Taking it back would offend her. You don't want to upset the woman who just recovered from surgery, do you? I swallowed hard. Of course not. Then keep it. His voice left no room for argument. I leaned back against the leather seat, the bracelet feeling heavy on my wrist. The drive back to the city was silent. Ryan stared out the window, his profile illuminated by passing streetlights. I kept glancing at him, trying to understand this complicated man. He claimed to be gay, yet he'd hired a woman to be his fake girlfriend. He was cold and distant, yet he defended me when I tried to return the bracelet. None of it made sense. When we arrived at my dorm, Ryan parked the car and turned to me. Next Saturday, my cousin's wedding. He handed me an envelope. Inside is the invitation. Study it. Memorize everything about us. Our relationship timeline, how we met, everything. I opened the envelope and pulled out the elegant card. The Anderson Harrington wedding. Your cousin? My mother's sister's son. He's getting married. Family will be there, including my grandmother. I nodded slowly. Got it. And one more thing. Ryan's eyes traveled over my face, lingering on my lips. You need to work on your feminine mannerisms. You're too stiff. Too masculine. My face heated up. I'm doing my best. Your best isn't good enough. He reached out and brushed a strand of hair from my face. His fingers grazed my cheek, and I froze. From now on, you'll spend weekends at my place. Training. Training? Learning how to be a convincing girlfriend. He withdrew his hand, his expression unreadable. Be ready Friday evening. I'll pick you up. I got out of the car, my heart pounding. This was getting more complicated by the day. But $15,000 a month. I touched the sandalwood bracelet on my wrist. I could do this. It was just acting, right? That week passed in a blur. I attended classes during the day, my mind constantly drifting to thoughts of Ryan. What would the training entail? How far would he want me to go? Emily noticed my distraction during our study session. You've been staring at that page for 20 minutes. She waved a hand in front of my face. Is everything okay? I snapped the book shut. Fine. Just tired. Emily studied me closely. You're acting strange lately. Disappearing on weekends, dressing differently. Her eyes narrowed. Are you seeing someone? I choked on my water. What? No. Why would you think that? She shrugged. You just seem different. And I heard Marcus asking about you. He mentioned seeing you in unusual clothing. My heart stopped. Marcus saw me in the maid outfit. And now he was asking questions. I forced a laugh. Marcus is just being Marcus. He probably saw me at some costume party. Emily didn't look convinced, but let it drop. If you say so. But you know you can tell me anything, right? I nodded, guilt gnawing at me. I wanted to tell her the truth. But I couldn't risk her finding out about Ryan. About the money. About everything. Friday evening arrived. I stood in front of the mirror, wearing the outfit Ryan had sent over. A floral sundress that reached my knees, paired with low heels. My wig was styled in loose waves, and I'd applied makeup with care. The door opened and Ryan stepped inside. His eyes swept over me, assessing. Better. He walked closer, reaching out to adjust the strap of my dress. His fingers brushed my bare shoulder, and I shivered. But you still move like a man. He stepped back. Come with me. We drove to his penthouse apartment. The space was elegant, modern, filled with expensive furniture and art. Ryan led me to the living room. Stand there. He positioned me in the center of the room. Now, walk towards me. I took a few steps, feeling self-conscious. Stop. Ryan shook his head. Too stiff. Too heavy. You're stomping. Women don't stomp. Try again. I tried to adjust my gait, taking smaller, lighter steps. Better. But your shoulders are too tense. Relax them. He walked behind me, placing his hands on my shoulders. Let them drop. Imagine you're floating. His touch was warm, his breath close to my ear. I tried to follow his instructions, my heart racing. Good. Now try walking again. I walked across the room, my movements more fluid. Much better. Ryan nodded approvingly. Now sit. I sat on the sofa, crossing my legs at the ankles. No. Ryan corrected me. Cross your knees. Like this. He demonstrated, his long legs elegantly crossed. I mimicked his pose, feeling awkward. Good. Now, how would you greet me if I came home from work? I hesitated. Welcome home? Ryan raised an eyebrow. That's it? Stand up. Try again. I stood and faced him. Welcome home, darling. I tried to sound affectionate, but it came out stiff. Ryan sighed. This is going to be a long night. For the next 3 hours, he drilled me on everything. How to walk, sit, stand, gesture. How to speak, laugh, even how to look at him. By midnight, I was exhausted. That's enough for today. Ryan handed me a glass of water. You're improving. But we have a long way to go. I drank the water, my throat dry. Ryan, can I ask you something? He looked at me. What? Why me? Why hire me instead of finding a real woman? Ryan was silent for a moment. Because you're not a threat. His voice was low. A real woman might develop feelings. Might expect more. Might try to manipulate me. But you're just doing it for the money. There's no emotional attachment. I nodded slowly. That makes sense. Does it? Ryan stepped closer, his eyes searching mine. Or maybe there's another reason. My breath caught. What reason? He didn't answer. Instead, he reached out and touched the bracelet on my wrist. Grandmother has never been wrong about these things. His fingers traced the wood grain. She said we were meant to be together. I laughed nervously. She was confused. She didn't know I'm a man. Was she? Ryan's voice was thoughtful. Or did she see something we don't? He withdrew his hand. Go home. Get some rest. I'll pick you up Friday evening for the wedding. The wedding was a grand affair. Held at a beautiful estate with hundreds of guests. I clung to Ryan's arm, feeling out of place among the wealthy elite. You're doing fine. Ryan whispered in my ear. Just follow my lead. He introduced me to family members, friends, business associates. Everyone seemed to accept our relationship without question. His grandmother beamed when she saw us, her eyes lighting up. There you are. My perfect pair. She pulled me into a hug. You look beautiful today, dear. Thank you. I managed to smile. Ryan stood beside me, his hand resting on my lower back. The gesture felt possessive, protective. Throughout the evening, I noticed people watching us. Whispering. Smiling. They all seemed so convinced that we were a real couple. Even I started to believe it. Especially when Ryan danced with me. His arm around my waist, his hand holding mine. We moved together naturally, as if we'd done this 1,000 times. You're a good dancer. His breath tickled my ear. I learned from my grandfather. He taught me everything. Ryan's grip tightened slightly. Your grandfather? The opera performer. I nodded. He raised me after my parents died. He wanted me to follow in his footsteps. But I chose business instead. Ryan was quiet for a moment. I'm sorry about your parents. I shrugged. It was a long time ago. The song ended, but Ryan didn't let go. Instead, he pulled me closer. Everyone is watching. His voice was low. They expect us to look like a couple in love. Before I could respond, he lowered his head and kissed me. My eyes widened in shock. His lips were soft, warm, demanding. For a moment, I forgot to breathe. Forgot where I was. Forgot who I was supposed to be. I just felt. Then he pulled away, his eyes dark. Good? I nodded, unable to speak. Good. He led me off the dance floor, his hand still gripping mine. We need some air. He took me outside, to a quiet garden area. The night air was cool against my heated skin. Ryan, what was that? I asked, my voice shaking. That was part of the act. He turned to face me. Or was it? I didn't know how to answer. Part of me wanted it to be real. Part of me was terrified that it might be. Ryan stepped closer, backing me against a tree. Tell me something. His eyes bore into mine. Are you really doing this just for the money? I swallowed hard. What else would it be? I don't know. He reached up, touching my face. Maybe you're enjoying this more than you admit. His thumb traced my lower lip. Maybe you're not as straight as you think. My heart pounded. I'm not gay. Are you sure? Ryan leaned closer. Because I'm not sure about myself anymore. His lips hovered near mine. What are you doing? I whispered. Finding out. He kissed me again. This time, there was no audience. No act. Just him and me under the stars. And this time, I kissed him back. As our lips met, I felt Ryan's hand move to my throat. His fingers brushed against my Adam's apple. I froze, panic rising in my chest. He knew. He must know. But Ryan didn't pull away. Instead, his grip on my neck tightened slightly, his thumb pressing against my throat. I could feel his pulse against my skin, matching my own racing heartbeat. When he finally pulled back, his eyes were dark with something I couldn't read. You have a strong pulse. His voice was low, almost a whisper. For a woman. I swallowed hard, my throat moving under his fingers. I've always been athletic. Ryan's lips curved into a faint smile. Athletic. He stepped closer, his body pressing against mine. I noticed something else tonight. His hand moved down, taking mine. Your hands. He interlaced our fingers, comparing our sizes. They're larger than most women's. And your shoulders. His other hand traced my shoulder. Broader than they should be. I couldn't breathe. He knew. He definitely knew. Ryan. Shoo. He placed a finger on my lips. I don't need you to explain. His eyes searched mine. I've been watching you. Since our first meeting. The way you walk, the way you move. The way you react when I touch you. He leaned in, his breath warm against my ear. I figured it out weeks ago. My eyes widened. You knew? And you didn't say anything? Ryan pulled back, studying my face. I found it amusing. A smirk played on his lips. Watching you try so hard to be something you're not. It was entertaining. I felt my face heat up with embarrassment and anger. You were making fun of me? No. Ryan's expression softened. I was waiting to see how long you'd keep up the act. And more importantly, he stepped closer again, his hand moving to my waist. I wanted to see how long I could pretend not to notice. What do you mean? Ryan's eyes darkened. I told you I pretend to be gay to avoid marriage pressure. But I never said I was actually gay. He leaned in, his lips inches from mine. I've always been attracted to women. But lately, his hand moved up my side, his touch sending shivers through me. I've been finding myself attracted to someone I thought was a woman. And now that I know the truth. Ryan's voice dropped to a whisper. I'm not sure what that makes me. My heart was pounding so hard I thought it might burst. Ryan. He kissed me again, deeper this time, more demanding. And for the first time, I didn't care about the money. Didn't care about the act. I just wanted him. The next few weeks were a blur of confusion and desire. Ryan and I spent every weekend together. Training, he called it. But it felt like something more. We went to dinners, movies, events. Each time, the lines between acting and reality blurred further. I found myself looking forward to seeing him, thinking about him when we were apart, wondering what he really felt. One evening, we were at his apartment. Ryan was teaching me how to apply makeup properly. His fingers were gentle as he corrected my technique. You're getting better. His voice was soft. You're a natural. I laughed. Thanks to my grandfather's training. Ryan smiled. Tell me more about him. What was he like? I described my grandfather, the opera performer who'd raised me. How he'd taught me voice control, movement, expression. How he'd wanted me to be an artist, but I'd chosen business school instead. He sounds like an extraordinary man. Ryan's eyes were warm. I wish I could have met him. Maybe you can. I blurted out. If you want. Ryan studied me. You'd introduce me to your family? My heart stopped. I hadn't thought about that. My sister knew. But my grandfather? He'd never understand this. I don't know. Ryan nodded. It's okay. I understand. He went back to applying makeup to my face. But I could tell he was disappointed. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about Ryan. About us. About what was real and what wasn't. And about what I really wanted. The next morning, I made a decision. I called my sister. I need to talk to you. She came over that afternoon, looking worried. What's going on? Are you in trouble? I took a deep breath. No, but I need to tell you something. And I need your help. I told her everything. About Ryan. About the money. About the acting. About how I was starting to have real feelings for him. My sister listened, her eyes wide. Oh my God. She covered her mouth. This is insane. But you like him? I nodded. I think so. But he thinks I'm a woman. And he hired me to be his fake girlfriend. How can this possibly work? My sister was silent for a moment. You have to tell him the truth. I know. But I'm scared. What if he hates me? What if he never wants to see me again? She squeezed my hand. Then he's not worth it. But I think you should give him a chance. He seems to really care about you. How do you know? She smiled. I've seen the way he looks at you. Even in photos. That's not just acting. I took a deep breath. You're right. The next day, I received my first payment from Ryan. $15,000 deposited directly into my account. I stared at the notification on my phone, hardly believing it was real. With this money, I could pay off my debts. I could help my grandfather. I could finally stop worrying about money. That afternoon, Emily found me in the library. Nathan. She sat down across from me, her eyes bright. I heard you got some money recently. Her fingers tapped on the table. You know, I've been wanting this new designer bag for weeks. It's only $3,000. I'm sure you could afford it now, right? I looked at her, really looked at her. For months, I'd chased her, bought her gifts, tried to impress her. But now, sitting here with Ryan's money in my account, Emily's request seemed so petty, so childish. I thought about Ryan. His maturity, his confidence, the way he challenged me. Compared to him, Emily seemed like a high school girl playing games. Emily, I said quietly, I can't buy you that bag. Her smile faltered. What? Why? I'm not going to spend my money on luxury items for you anymore. I stood up, gathering my books. I think we should stop seeing each other. Her face flushed red. What are you talking about? After everything I've done for you? You think you can just… Nathan. Marcus appeared behind Emily, his face twisted in anger. I heard you got money. He stepped closer, towering over me. You think you're better than me now? Just because you got some cash? I looked at Marcus. The guy who'd bought Emily everything she wanted. The guy I used to envy. Now he just seemed pathetic. Marcus, I said calmly. I don't care about your money. And I don't care about competing with you anymore. I'm done with this childish game. You're just jealous. Marcus shouted, drawing attention from nearby students. You know Emily wants me, not you. You're nothing but enough. A deep voice cut through the noise. Ryan stood in the library entrance, dressed in a sharp suit. His eyes swept over Emily and Marcus, then landed on me. Is there a problem here? Emily's jaw dropped. Ryan? Marcus froze. Who are you? Ryan walked over, placing a possessive hand on my shoulder. I'm Nathan's partner. His voice was cold, commanding. And I suggest you leave him alone. Emily stared at us, her eyes wide. Partner? But… Nathan, you never said. I looked at her, then at Ryan. I know. I squeezed Ryan's hand. But I'm saying it now. Emily's face crumpled. Marcus looked like he'd been punched. Without another word, they both turned and walked away. Ryan turned to me, his expression softening. Are you okay? I nodded, my heart racing. Yeah, I'm better than okay. He smiled, leaning in to whisper in my ear. Good. Because I don't like sharing what's mine. The next morning, I made a decision. That evening, Ryan came to pick me up. We were supposed to go to another family dinner. Can we talk first? I asked as we got into his car. Ryan looked at me. Is something wrong? I took a deep breath. There's something I need to tell you. I've been hiding something from you. Ryan's expression grew serious. What is it? I closed my eyes. I'm not who you think I am. I opened my eyes and met his gaze. My name is Nathan Anderson. I'm a man. Ryan stared at me, his face unreadable. What? I'm a man. I've been pretending to be a woman this whole time. My sister made me do it. She threatened to show our mother pictures of me in a maid costume. I needed the money, so I agreed. But then, things changed. I started to have feelings for you. Real feelings. Ryan was silent for a long moment. I thought you'd be angry. I said quietly. Or disgusted. Ryan didn't speak. He just stared at me, his expression impossible to read. Ryan, please say something. He finally spoke. How long have you known? Known what? That I knew. I froze. What? Ryan sighed. I've known since the beginning. My eyes widened. You knew? He nodded. Your sister told me before we met. She said you were doing her a favor. That you were unconventional. But I needed someone who wouldn't get attached. Someone I could trust. So I hired you anyway. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. You knew? All this time? Ryan nodded. And I watched you. Watched you struggle to be someone you're not. Watched you try so hard to please everyone. And I started to see the real you. He reached out and took my hand. The person beneath the wig and makeup. The person who's kind and funny and surprisingly vulnerable. My heart pounded. Ryan. I know I said I was gay. He looked away. But I'm not sure that's true anymore. I've never felt this way about anyone. Man or woman. He turned back to me. I think I'm falling in love with you. I stared at him, unable to speak. This couldn't be happening. It was too good to be true. But the look in his eyes. The way he held my hand. It felt real. Ryan, He leaned closer. What do you feel, Nathan? Tell me the truth. I took a deep breath. I think I'm falling in love with you too. Ryan smiled. It was the first genuine smile I'd ever seen from him. Then I guess we have a problem. What problem? We're both falling for each other. But you're still pretending to be my girlfriend. And I'm still pretending to be gay. I laughed. So what do we do? Ryan thought for a moment. We could stop pretending. We could be real. But what about your family? Your grandmother? She thinks I'm your future wife. Ryan's eyes twinkled. Grandmother is never wrong. Maybe she saw something we didn't. Maybe she knew all along. He squeezed my hand. What if we tell them the truth? That I'm not gay. That you're not a woman. But that we love each other anyway. Is that crazy? I smiled. It's definitely crazy. But I think it might work. Ryan leaned in and kissed me. This time, there was no pretending. No audience. Just us. The next few months were a whirlwind. We came out to our families. To my sister, who wasn't surprised at all. To my grandfather, who took it surprisingly well. To Ryan's family, who were shocked but accepting. Even his grandmother just smiled. I told you were perfect for each other. She patted my hand. Love comes in many forms. Ryan and I moved in together. I finished my degree and started working at his company. We were happy. Really, truly happy. Until the day everything changed. It was Ryan's grandmother's 80th birthday celebration. A grand event at the family estate with hundreds of guests. I was nervous, but Ryan squeezed my hand reassuringly. Just be yourself, he whispered. They already love you. I wore a beautiful gown, my wig perfectly styled, my makeup flawless. I'd gotten so good at this. Sometimes I almost forgot I was pretending. The evening was going perfectly. Ryan introduced me to distant relatives, business partners, family friends. Everyone accepted me without question. His grandmother beamed when she saw us. My perfect pair. She pulled me into a hug. I'm so happy you found each other. I smiled, guilt gnawing at my stomach. If she only knew the truth. Then came the toast. Ryan's aunt, the same one who had originally set up the blind date, stood up. I want to propose a toast to my nephew Ryan and his lovely partner. She raised her glass. May your love continue to grow stronger. Everyone applauded. I took a sip of my champagne, feeling overwhelmed. As I turned to leave the toast area, someone bumped into me hard. I stumbled backward, my heel catching on the edge of the marble floor. Time seemed to slow as I fell. I reached out to grab something, anything to steady myself. My hand caught on a tablecloth, pulling everything down with me. Crystal glasses shattered. Plates crashed. And worst of all, my wig caught on something and ripped off. I hit the ground, my long wig lying beside me, my short hair exposed. The room went silent. Dead silent. I lay there, frozen, my heart pounding. Slowly, I looked up. Dozens of eyes were staring at me. Shock. Confusion. Disbelief. Ryan's aunt's glass slipped from her hand, shattering on the floor. What is this? She gasped. You're a man? I couldn't move. Couldn't breathe. This was it. The end. Ryan's grandmother's face had gone pale. Nathan? Her voice trembled. Is this true? I pushed myself up, my hands shaking. I'm sorry. I looked at Ryan, desperate. Ryan, He was already moving. Walking toward me through the stunned crowd. His expression was calm, composed. Not angry. Not shocked. Just determined. He reached me and held out his hand. I took it, and he pulled me to my feet. Ryan, I whispered. I'm so sorry. I never meant to. He squeezed my hand, silencing me. Then he turned to face his family. To face everyone. Yes. His voice rang out clear and strong. Nathan is a man. A murmur swept through the crowd. Ryan's aunt stepped forward. But how? This is impossible. You've been dating for months. Everyone thought you were a woman. Ryan's grandmother stood up, her eyes searching my face. Nathan, is this true? Were you deceiving us all this time? I nodded, tears stinging my eyes. Yes. I was helping my sister. She had a blind date and she couldn't go, so I took her place. I never meant for it to go this far. I never meant to hurt anyone. Ryan's uncle shook his head. This is outrageous. You've been lying to us. Pretending to be a woman. This is a disgrace. The room erupted in whispers and accusations. I stood there, head bowed, waiting for Ryan to pull away. To denounce me. To end everything. Instead, he stepped closer, wrapping his arm around my waist. Enough. His voice cut through the noise. The room fell silent again. Ryan looked at his family, his expression fierce. I knew. The room gasped. Ryan's grandmother's eyes widened. You knew? Ryan nodded. I've known for weeks. I noticed from the beginning. His hand, his throat, the way he moved. I figured it out. Then why? His aunt demanded. Why did you continue this charade? Ryan looked at me, his eyes softening. Because I fell in love. Another gasp. Ryan, his grandmother said gently. But you're. I know what I am. Ryan's voice was steady. I told everyone I was gay to avoid marriage pressure. But the truth is, I've never been attracted to men. Until Nathan. He looked at me, and I could see the love in his eyes. I was attracted to who I thought was a woman. And when I found out the truth. He paused, then smiled. I didn't stop loving him. The room was completely silent now. Ryan's grandmother studied us both, her eyes moving between our faces. She looked at the sandalwood bracelet on my wrist. The one she'd given me months ago. The bracelet she'd said was meant for Ryan's spouse. I saw understanding dawn in her eyes. She smiled. I knew. The room stared at her. Grandmother? Ryan's aunt asked. You knew? She nodded slowly. I saw it in his palm. The day I read his fortune. I saw the truth. But I also saw something else. She walked over to us, taking my free hand. I saw that you two were meant to be together. Regardless of gender. She squeezed my hand. Love is love, Nathan. And I have never been wrong about these things. Ryan's aunt looked from his grandmother to us. But this is so unconventional. What will people say? Ryan's voice was firm. Let them say whatever they want. He pulled me closer. I love Nathan. I want to be with him. If you can't accept that, then that's your problem. But we're not going anywhere. His grandmother smiled broadly. Well said. She raised her glass. To Ryan and Nathan. May your love continue to grow stronger, no matter what anyone else thinks. For a moment, no one moved. Then slowly Ryan's parents stood up. His father raised his glass. To Ryan and Nathan. One by one, family members stood up, raising their glasses. To Ryan and Nathan. Even Ryan's aunt, after a long moment, raised her glass. To Ryan and Nathan. I looked around the room, tears streaming down my face. They were accepting us. All of them. Ryan leaned down and kissed me. Not a fake kiss for show. A real kiss, filled with love. The room erupted in applause. That night, as we lay in bed together, I couldn't stop smiling. I can't believe that happened. I said. They actually accepted us. Ryan pulled me closer. My grandmother never makes mistakes. She saw the truth before anyone else. Including me. I laughed. You knew all along and didn't tell me. I was waiting for the right moment. He kissed my forehead. And honestly, I was enjoying watching you try so hard to be a woman. It was adorable. I swatted his arm. You're terrible. You love me. Ryan grinned. I do. More than anything. He grew serious. Nathan? Yes? I want to make this official. Not just us living together. I want to get married. For real. My heart skipped a beat. Married? Yes. Ryan reached under his pillow and pulled out a small box. He opened it to reveal a beautiful ring. Nathan Anderson, will you marry me? Tears filled my eyes. This wasn't how I'd imagined my life would turn out. Cross-dressing for a blind date. Falling in love with a man. Coming out to his entire family in the most dramatic way possible. But as I looked at Ryan, at the man I loved more than anything, I knew it was exactly how it was supposed to be. Yes, I whispered. Yes, I'll marry you. Ryan slid the ring onto my finger. It fit perfectly. Just like us. We got married 6 months later. It was a beautiful ceremony, surrounded by family and friends. My grandfather cried. My sister beamed. Ryan's grandmother declared it the happiest day of her life. And Ryan looked at me like I was the only person in the world. Like I was his everything. We've been married for 3 years now. Every day with him is an adventure. We've built a life together. A home. A future. Sometimes I think back to that day in the coffee shop. To the terrified young man in a wig and dress, pretending to be someone he wasn't. I never could have imagined where that day would lead. Never could have guessed that a lie would turn into the greatest truth of my life. Ryan wraps his arms around me from behind as I stand at the window, watching the sunset. What are you thinking about? He kisses my neck. I lean back against him, smiling. Just thinking about how lucky I am. He turns me around to face him. I'm the lucky one. He kisses me softly. I love you, Nathan. I love you too, Ryan. And I always will. The sandalwood bracelet still sits on my wrist. A reminder of where we started. Of the grandmother who saw what we couldn't. Of the journey that brought us together. Some people might say our love is unconventional. That it shouldn't work. But they're wrong. Love isn't about fitting into a box. It's about finding the person who sees you, really sees you, and loves you anyway. That's what Ryan and I have. And that's all that matters. The end.